You're listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hayner.
Hey guys, Charge Hayner at Zoom the TBT, and tonight we are completing our Charleston regional preview. And we're now looking at the upper right, the 6-11, 3-14, and only some really fun games in this pod. I mean, Charge, this surprised you a little seeing this.
No, yeah, this is the one that just absolutely blows my mind out of every single pod that we've talked about. I think a lot of people who follow the TBT kind of heard the story heard that last year. He thinks they get some pretty good favor from the tournament selection committee, and they get a lot of buzz and excitement. But the TBT heard that no favors this year. We'll go in a little more to the matchups, but getting DRC, and then whoever wins that game is going to go into a tough game against Team 23. And so this one just really, really shocked me. We could split hairs on who gets the 2 and 3 between West Virginia and heard that, but to give them DRC in the first round is just insane. Just blows my mind.
A lot of respect to the Beasley winners too, getting the 11 seed. That kind of surprised me. Not that they're not a good team. I mean, obviously they won a tournament to get in, so they're credible, but 11 seed felt a little high. So it's a very interesting matchup. This is one place where the seeds made a little less sense than usual. I mean, it's not as egregious as the Volunteers Purdue insanity or the Jimmy V and the Briley Love stupidity, but this is still a very strange seeding area. But again, it's interesting because to talk about this, Charge, who do we have tonight?
Yeah, so speaking about heard that, and I guess I don't even know your role anymore. So player,
Legend.
GM. I mean, he was a coach a couple years back, so I don't even know what you are anymore. So what are you doing with the team this year?
I'm just playing this year. I sort of do it all, just whatever we need year to year. That first year I had a broken foot, so I was coaching. I started the team, so I was GM, but I let John sort of take over. We've turned into sort of, a pretty good team in the TBT. We get pretty elite level talent, and he's more plugged into it than I am at the time. I'm in law school. He's still playing professionally, so I let him take over the GM role because he's sort of more plugged into everything than I am.
How is law school treating you so far, by the way?
Law school's treating me okay. I haven't flunked out, which is the big goal. I'm still, I'm on pace to graduate. That's always important. Passed all my classes. I'm just making it through. That's about all I can say about that.
Well, that's good, because obviously if the world needs anything, it needs more lawyers. That's what it needs. So
yeah. And
you could have done the honorable thing and just become a brawny lumberjack pitchman with that beard. That would have been much more honorable than being a lawyer.
Yeah. That don't pay quite as well, I don't think.
That's true. That's true.
No doubt. Hey, so now that we introduced you, you heard my kind of opening comments about this opening matchup. So when you guys sat there and watched Selection Monday, what went through your head when you saw how this played out with the TBT West Virginia Regional?
I wasn't surprised. We got the 3 seed, which sort of made me mad. I think we deserved higher. That's a different story. 1 through 3, 1 through 4. It's all basically the same thing. You're going to have to get through one of the other 2 elite teams up there, hopefully, if you can make it that far. But we saw our matchup in Team DRC, and we thought, man, they didn't do us any favors with that matchup. Are we scared of them? Of course not. We're confident. We think we're going to win. Of course, everybody thinks they're going to win. We're not taking them lightly, but everybody's confident in themselves. But as a 14 seed, a team that's historically done what they've done, that is not an easy matchup by any means. They didn't give us a cupcake, and a lot of people think, oh, the TBT loves us, and they've always had us in. They treat us real good when we're there. But if you look historically at our seeds and who we play, that first year we were in it as the Wildcats. They said, would we be willing to play Ohio State? And we said, sure. So, we walked right into Columbus, and of course we won the play-in game. Of course, that was sort of a give. That was a give me. Everybody sort of knew that. We won that one by 40. Well, first game of the real tournament's Ohio State, Carmen's crew in Columbus. And this past year we go out to the bubble, and we're scheduled to play West Virginia, which is a very good first round game in any type of tournament. And then they unfortunately didn't make it, but our second round game was the money team. oh, we win that, it's got to get easier. No, we win that, there's Joe Johnson, overseas elite. So, you know, I think I've told other people the tournament sort of views us as this, we have this reputation of sort of being David. So, you know, we get all the Goliaths. They don't want us to, they don't give us the easy stretch. They send us right into war. And, you know, I think that's what they want, because, you know, we come ready. And so they put us up against good teams and we have good games. And I think that's one of the reasons we're a popular team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's no cupcakes in this tournament. And so it's not like there's any easy games, but this is a really nasty 14 seed. Probably the nastiest 14 seed in the entire bracket by a lot, I think.
I mean, there's no easy games, but I mean, it didn't have to just be a battle first round. You know, I see some teams in this bracket that we could have, you know, hey, we're going to get through, you know, we might as well book our hotel for the next night. This one's no give me. Like, this one's going to be a war. They have legitimate pros. They have, and I mean, as a 14 seed, that's tough. And like we talked about off air, that's not only is that the best 14 seed, in my opinion, in our bracket, the West Virginia region, that might be the best lower seed. You know, you got 1 through 8, but in the bottom 9, who are the lower seeds in all those games, that might be the best lower seed. Like, they could legitimately been a top 8 seed.
Yeah, and I'm just surprised they didn't just flip the two. I don't know, maybe it got transposed on the selection show, but typically what we've seen is, you know, TBT would historically do is Team 23 versus DRC kind of cannibalize each other. And not to say Georgia Kingz is an easy game, but obviously some of the alumni teams, there's value in advancing those teams. So I guess we'll find out in West Virginia. We'll have to hit up the TBT folks and get some answers to what took place here. But as you said, you guys, you don't care who you play, and whether it's Joe Johnson, the money team, it doesn't matter. You guys are going to give them a punch in the mouth, and win or lose, it's going to be a battle.
Do you and Gio hang out still?
Nah. Of course. But again, like you're saying, you know, they didn't do us any favors, but, you know, we sort of also wear that as a badge of honor. Because, you know, we hope they want us to advance because we're a pretty popular team. And in our minds, and maybe in their minds, they gave us a team they thought we could beat. So, you know, we take that as sort of a badge of honor, too. You know, we don't want a tough game, but, you know, we think they want us here, and we think they think we're going to advance. So we hope to prove them right.
Yeah, and you get into the matchup. So you're looking at these matchups. We'll get to your game in a minute. Let's talk a little bit briefly about this 23 and Georgia Kingz matchup. Your potential second round opponent would be the winner of this game. And you start looking at the Georgia Kingz roster. There's actually some sneaky good players on here, even though they're kind of unknown. And you sort of see this roster. You see Jordan Adams on there. That's kind of an interesting little ad there. Something you kind of see. It's kind of surprising. Guy from UCLA. So he can definitely pick up a lot of scoring slack and go bucket for people. So I explained the seed a little bit, a quality of player there. But Charge, Team 23 just has a pretty loaded roster.
Yeah, no, these guys are real balanced. I mean, it was like, let me think. Their team was I Have a Dream team, I believe, combined with Team 23. So they already had some kind of good players coming together on both sides. But you got some really good guards in Walt Lemon and Tim Quarterman, great guards. Eric Griffin's a really good athletic big man. Putney, I mean, he's getting a little older, but that guy for a big will go out there and stretch the court a little bit on you. Terrell Smith, you know, used to play for Primetime, probably one of the best three-point shooters in the TBT historically, statistically. And so this is going to be a really deep team, top to bottom, a lot of experience. Dakari Tucker, some of these guys have that overseas elite DNA. So it's going to be a really solid team. And, you know, 6 seed there is probably fair based on how strong it was at the top. But, you know, look for these guys to make a pretty good run if they get past the Georgia Kingz.
Yeah, I mean, they could be a pretty quality team. So looking at these two teams, if you're able to get past your first round opponent, like, is there anything that stands out about this besides the fact that, again, it's just been another knife fight?
No, I mean, those are two good teams. You know, Team 23 on paper looks a little bit more loaded and probably hence the seed, but you know, that's going to be a coin flip. They're going, you know, we said ours is going to be a tough game. That's going to be another just battle. So, you know, the two teams that are able to play each other that second day are going to be tested and proven. I mean, all these seeds you could change. I mean, with the exception of us, probably you could change DRC with Team 23, 23 with Georgia Kingz, or all of the above, switch them all around. You know, they'd still look the same. It's your matchup. Like, wow, that's a good team. They might be underseeded. So, you know, it's going to be a war.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so, any more questions on this slide, St. Hannah? Or you want to?
No, I mean, I think it's just one of those things that really it's worth talking about with the tournament is, and this is Ot's point, is that as much as we talk about the seeds and the matchups, we have 64 credible teams. There isn't a soft touch in here. 16 through 1. If you don't come correct, even as a 1 seed, you can get got. There's absolutely no reason to believe JMU can't walk up and punch Sideline in the face. I don't think it will happen. I think Sideline wins that relatively easily, but it doesn't mean JMU doesn't have the stones to pull it off. Every team in here, Kingz, 23, DRC, can cause the favorites problems. But let's talk about these favorites. Let's go to this next slide and talk a little bit about the man we have here in this team. And again, this is a really, really nice roster they've put together. And this is something I really want to mention because we had one of our first shows this year. We made a decided theory to go to more general and talk about themes as opposed to just individual teams. And we had a show talking about the transfer portal. And we mentioned Ja'Cory Williams. And Charge and I both really thought that he would end up with Team Arkansas. And lo and behold, I'm looking at this roster and I still see Ja'Cory Williams. Unheard that. How big was it holding on to Ja'Cory?
Oh, it was huge. I think, it was probably the biggest single roster holding the whole tournament. I mean, that's high praise.
100%.
I mean, that's high praise for Ja'Cory, but he was just top 5 in scoring in the last TBT. That was was the toughest one ever. I mean, he was probably the biggest name and best player that was, quote unquote available, could potentially be on the move. I mean, when you look at, he had success in it, not just success in Italy, he tore up overseas this year. So, I mean, that was a guy that everybody would have liked to have on their team. And that was a guy that you can plug in there and you think, man, we have a chance.
Yeah, and Ja'Cory, like I was going to mention that. I was thinking in my head, and this is a guy, under the radar, obviously good ball player, played in the G League with the Charge, didn't get to break in the NBA, but went overseas and has just been absolutely killing it ever since. So this isn't, I had a good tournament run to go play high level in Italy, was fantastic. And then obviously you have some of the core, some of the same guys, obviously your brother, Stevie Browning, some of the same guys. So, as far as getting ready for this TBT, a couple new guys. So tell me about the new guys and how they're going to fit into what you guys accomplished last year.
Well, okay, we'll start with James Kelly because he's a Marshall guy. He was a first-team All-Conference USA guy. And, I mean, as physically gifted as just about anybody I've ever seen. 6'8", built like a tank. He could jump out of the gym. He could shoot the ball. How he didn't, he went overseas and had some success. When he was at Marshall, I thought, man, there's no way that guy's not in the NBA. He's so physically gifted. He had offers from like the Eagles and stuff to come play tight end. So, I mean, he is a special type of athlete, big body for us. So, and he knows the system. He's going to come in. He's going to help us right away. Derek Cook Jr. played with my brother in Italy, my brother's rookie season. John knows him a lot more than I do. Of course, I watched a few games, but John said just strong tank athlete, just going to be an animal for us, especially when we go small. We're going to run the court. We're just a plug and play guy. So who else am I forgetting? Ronald Delph, 7 foot tall, Florida Atlantic, another Conference USA guy, good athlete. He's going to be really special in our system. He's going to play sort of the Zach Smith role for us, except he's going to be taller. He's a good athlete. Might not be quite as explosive as Zach, but, he's going to be in that same mold. He's going to be taller, going to help us on the defensive end. Darren Johnson's a guy that one of my teammates from when I was in school in Texas texted me about, said, hey, would you give this guy a chance? 6'5" guy, played in the G League, started at Washington, finished up at Cal State Northridge, I think it was. Averaged 17 a game as his junior year before he decided to go pro. Just another good guy. Who am I missing? Am I missing somebody?
I think you got most of the new guys.
You got all the new ones. Yeah, you hit the new guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Ot, are we still going to be seeing the same sort of heard that, damn the torpedoes, play 5 out, play a lot of high pick and roll, split the floor, get a lot of shots up? We still trying to break 100 every game? What are we trying to do here?
Yeah. This year we're going to have a little bit of a different strategy. We plan to break 100. This year we're going to try to hold teams to under 100, which is a little different than what we did last year. It's just everybody get 100 last year. This year we're going to get 100 and try to hold the other teams a little bit under it.
Yeah, good strategy. And so
If
DRC,
you want to win the game, the secret, what do you have to do to win the game? Well, you have to score more points than the other team. Exactly. That's Ot, you're a genius.
Right. Yeah. In the past, we were coming to score points, be entertaining, sort of justify while we're in the field. Now we want to still score points, but now instead of 2-3 wins, we want 5-6 wins. And we're going to lock in, on the defense end a little bit more. Last year showed, hey, we can do this. We can make a run. We can win this. So that's what we're here for.
yeah, and so DRC, we talked about them, really, really strong. 14 seed, Glenn Rice, Tyshawn Taylor, probably two of the bigger names on this. So how do you prepare for a team like DRC? A lot of experience. I think that's what you're seeing in the TBT this year. Just most of these guys have TBT experience. These guys are going to be real physical. So how do you prepare for a team like DRC?
Well, that's what's unique about us is we don't prepare for anybody. We know what we're going to do, and we're going to do it. They got to try to stop us. We have our game plan, and it don't matter if we're playing DRC or we're playing Los Angeles Lakers. We're going to go out there and try to do what we're going to do. We're going to run pick and roll. We're going to get up and down. We're going to get alley-oops. We're going to get dunks. We're going to shoot threes. So that's the biggest thing with us is we don't prepare. Obviously we know who they have, but we have what we're going to do, and we're going to do it, and we hope we do it better than you.
This is where you really hope I don't edit this down in a bad way, because I just clip out the part where it says we don't prepare, and that would make you. Obviously we're not going to edit that way. But that's great. It just says we don't.
I think that's okay with that, though.
It's like we just show up and kick ass. I don't give a shit.
Right. That's what we do. We do what we do, and if we don't do it better than you, we're going to go home.
Well, at least in this case, it'd be a short trip. How far away is the Marshall campus?
Marshall campus is probably 40 minutes from the Civic Center.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's in Huntington. That's right. It's not that bad. Yeah. My family is funny. My family's originally from Huntington, actually. My grandfather was a huge Herd fan, actually, before they all moved to Memphis. So,
okay. Yeah. And of course, me and John live 8 minutes from the Civic Center. So, it's going to be a home game.
So are you guys staying at the team hotel just to let the distractions down, or are you staying at home, sleeping in your own bed?
We'll probably, I don't know. We're going to get the rooms. If we don't use them, some of the guys will just have rooms themselves. So I'm probably just going to stay at home,
That's a big advantage. Just sleeping in your own bed's got to be a big advantage, not breaking down your, that's got to be nice, actually.
Yeah. It's an advantage having it in your home, in your backyard. We're not going to Columbus. We're not going anywhere else. It's here. They're coming to us.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And your fan base, I'm really curious to see how that plays out. Obviously, you guys are playing back-to-back on ESPN. Heard that in West Virginia. So as far as fans showing up specifically for Heard That, how's that going to feel? Do you think Heard That's going to show up and really be able to rival what West Virginia brings?
I do. And, what was neat is, I don't like giving WVU credit for anything, but my senior year when we played in the NCAA tournament, West Virginia played right after us. It was sort of the same deal, Mark. We played Wichita State. The very next game was WVU Murray State with John Morant. And it was sort of neat because all the West Virginia fans were there early, and they were all rooting for Marshall. They'll tell you they weren't, but there was about 90% of that 90% of that arena was rooting for Marshall. Of course, we were the underdog and all that, but they were there early for the West Virginia game. They rooted for us. I know the Marshall fans stayed after, having a good old time that we won. Rooting for West Virginia. So I'm gonna root. I expect the West Virginia people to root for Marshall and West Virginia, and then when we play each other, we'll go our separate ways and be enemies. But it's sort of West Virginia versus the world. It's it's our little state. We take a lot of pride in it. I'm sure they're going to be rooting for us. We'll be rooting for them. And then once we play each other, then it'll be a house divided.
So that's interesting because there's rivalries where they're friendly, but they're rivalries and there's true hatred rivalries. I'm a big Memphis fan and we hate Tennessee. There's no love. I hope the Volunteers lose to Purdue by 1,000 points. I hope it's worse than that. But at the same time, we were rivals with Cincy, but there's respect and admiration. Is on a scale of 1 being I like them unless we're playing, and 10 being I hope they die in a tire fire. Where is the rivalry with West Virginia and Marshall fans? Again, 10 tire fire, 1 only when we play.
I think it's not tire fire or, whatever.
Or couch fire. I guess I should have said couch fire.
It's not couch fire and it's not a zero. There's some diehards in each camp that, will root against the other. But the thing that we got going for us is a lot of us Marshall guys are West Virginians. Mm-hmm. And, they're going to root for their people. And I said this on the other podcast is, while they might be the state school, we are the state. We are the guys that they saw at 7-Eleven. We're the ones they played at the park, they went to school with. I mean, they know us. So that's one of the reasons, if we were Marshall, we had a bunch of guys from Florida, we probably wouldn't have quite the same love there when we're not playing each other. They might, it might be more heated in their feelings. But since, especially in basketball, where it's a lot of West Virginia kids are going to Marshall to play, I think it sort of tempered it down when they're not going against each other.
Makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think that the point that you brought about the West Virginia crowd and the Marshall crowd, it is a very prideful state down there in West Virginia. I've been through, don't live too far from there, and it's people really come out and support their own and support their state. And I've seen it in Columbus. I'm sure you were at those games, but it was kind of crazy watching Ohio State people actually rooting for Red Scare and vice versa. So people appreciate kind of the local geography and good basketball, and so I think that's what we're going to see from both West Virginia and Heard That. So let's head over to the picks. So we have our panel of, I guess we can call them experts, picking the games. Team 23 Kingz and Heard That versus Team DRC. So let's see what's out here.
Before the picks, Charge, we talked about DRC being a really good team, right?
Absolutely.
So we did talk about DRC being a really good team. So Ot, anything there you want to comment on?
I wouldn't expect anything else out of my buddy Charge.
Yeah, there's no way I was going to give you a sweep there and let it go to your head and try to pretend you're a favorite in this thing, Yeah, we pretty much hashed out the reasons why, they have not lost before the round of 16 in the tournament. They've always come out. They've won a couple games, played, I think VCU to one year, and I can't remember who they lost to the other year, but they, ended up getting knocked out by some of the perennial favorites. It's going to be a tough matchup. Part of it is, just kind of needle at you a little bit, but I think this is a legit upset opportunity for DRC.
Well, it is a legit upset opportunity, but you have, the pick's all cute, but if your life's on the line and you had to make sure you pick that game right, I think that might flip to a sweep.
We'll see. It was tough picking against Ja'Cory too. So I'm glad we didn't have him on the show. If he was on the show, I tell you what, there's no way in heck I put a DRC up there if we had Ja'Cory and you on the show. So for you though, I got to go against you on this one.
I understand it wouldn't be a ZoomTheTBT show without you picking against us. But
yeah, seeing that. I moved you all the way up to number 2 in my own personal bracket, and TBT gave you the 3. But it's going to be a heck of a game. I think we keep saying this about West Virginia, probably more than any other region. There are going to be insane games in West Virginia. I mean, we're fortunate enough we're going to be there, and some of the other regionals have some really good teams at the top and some interesting matchups. But man alive, West Virginia's got intriguing matchups, right? 1 through 16. You're going to get a good game, and you're going to get a hard-fought battle that, fans are going to get what they paid for in this thing.
And speaking of fans, Ot, so before we go, anything we should be telling the Marshall fans? I mean, one more chance to tell them and buy their tickets to come watch you play. Like, what do they need to know that they don't already know about this event and Heard That?
They probably, they know we're playing it. I'd just say, hey, we're playing at noon. Take the day off, call into work, say, hey, we're going to Charleston. Last person out of Huntington, turn the light off, and everybody can go back after the game, and everybody hopefully will celebrate a little bit, except for Charge.
Yeah, we'll see on my official bracket. So is noon too early for the Heard That fans to be tailgating? Are we going to see a big tailgate party out there? What should we expect?
No, noon's not too early.
Late.
Yeah, that might give us too much time to tailgate before the game.
Yeah, they probably haven't come down from the night before. It's a Friday night leading into a Saturday is game day, so maybe they didn't even come down from the night before yet.
If you're a Heard That fan listening, I think Charge is buying drinks at the hotel bar for Heard That fans. I think that's what I heard.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
All right, so we have Ot Elmore from Heard That talking about how he's going to beat the crap out of DRC and hopefully go on a deep run in TBT. Guys, this has been Zoom the TBT. Ot, thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
Hope you enjoyed listening to Zoom the TBT with Charge and Hater. Subscribe to YouTube, follow on Twitter, and give us your money.